Okay, welcome back. This again is the tutorial for review. We're on page 305 and we're going to be starting on step 16. And now we're going to be talking about for the aside element, we want to create a style rule to add a 3 pixel solid border with the color value of 149, 91, 42. Set the text color to the value of 149, 91, 42. We want to float the aside element on the right side with a margin of 10 pixels and then set the width to 50% of the width of the main section and add a rounded border with a radius of 30 pixels. For the paragraphs within the aside element, we want to set the font size to 90% and the margin to 20 pixels. Okay, this is going to be broken down into a couple style rules and we're going to do that now. Okay, you can see we have the aside styles comment and then we go and have our aside in our opening bracket. You can see where the border 3 pixels solid and then specify RGB and then the color that we're in the directions. And then we have the color again which is specified for the text, which is the same color that we used for our border. We're going to float on the right. Our margin is 10 pixels and our width is 50%. Then we wanted to have a specific border with specific radiuses, so go ahead and make sure you're keying in the text that I'm highlighting right now and you're putting in the 30 pixels with your semicolons. And then we have our ending bracket, and then for the specific side paragraph we want to have a font size of 90% with a margin of 20%, and then we can have our ending bracket. And now we're going to move on to step 17 on page 305. And for the article element, create a style rule to float the element on the left with the width of 90% and a margin of 1%, and set the background color to the value 215, 181, 151. We're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, you can see where we have the article styles comment, then we have article, make sure you have background dash color, RGB, and then the correct numbers. We want float to be set at left, our left margin is 1%, and then our width is 29%. Go ahead and do a quick save, and then turn your page to 306, and we are now on step 18. And it says for the header group within the article element, create a style rule to do the following. Display a background color with the value 189, 131, 82 with the background image Alicia.png displayed in the bottom right corner with no tilting. Then set the text color to the value 215, 181, 151. Then set the bottom margin to 10 pixels, set the height to 60 pixels, and indent the text to 20 pixels. Set the size of heading 1 within the header group to 150% with normal weight, and set the size of heading 2 headings to 110% with normal weight. Okay, so this is going to need to be broken down into several style rules. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and we're going to start putting in. Okay, here's the first part. So we have article group in our opening bracket. You can see where we have the background color, where RGB, and we have 189, 131, 82. Then you're going to have URL, and in parentheses, this is where you're going to put the name of that PNG file that the directions gave us, which is alicia.png, and then the ending parenthesis there. And we want this to be at the bottom right, and make sure you have no dash repeat colon. This specifies no tilt and no repeat. Underneath that, then you're going to have the color, and then you're going to have RGB 215, 181, 151. Now we specify our bottom margin, our height, and then our text indent. So this was just the first part of what we needed to do. Now we need to set the size for our H1 heading within the header group to 150% with normal weight, and then set the size of the H2 heading to 110% with normal weight. So let's go ahead and press enter and do that now. Okay, you can see that we broke this up into two style rules. The first one is for the article H group for H1, the font size at 150%, font weight at normal. Then we have our ending bracket and we go down to the next style rule. We have the article H group for H2, font weight at 110%, and then the font weight at normal. Then for step 19 on page 306, for paragraphs within the article element and styles 2, go ahead and set the font size to 90% and set the margin to 15 pixels. Let's just go ahead, do a quick save, and let's continue on to the next step. Okay, this is a short and easy one. You have the article, space P bracket, the font size 90%, semicolon, margin, colon, space 15 px for pixels, and then semicolon in our ending bracket. Let's go ahead, do a quick save, and now for step 20. For the figure box, create a style rule to float the figure box on the left once the left margin is clear. At a 21% left margin, set the width of the figure box to 79% and set the background color to the value of 149, 91, 42. Let's go ahead and do this now. Okay, you can see that the figure box styles are keyed there. And then we have the figure, we have the background color, so make sure you have background dash color, no spaces, RGB, and then the numbers are in parentheses. We want it clear left, float left, margin left 21%, and then the width is 79%. Okay, the next step is for the div element within the figure box. Go ahead and set the browser display scroll bars automatically if the content overflows the assigned space. Use the white space properly to prevent the content from wrapping to a new line. Okay, I don't recall if we went over this in the tutorial, so we will go over this right now. Let's do a quick save since we added some new stuff. So you're going to go ahead and do figure div, then your opening bracket, and for overflow make sure it says auto, and then for white space you set that with no wrap, and no wrap should be one word. So the next part of this is for an inline image within our figure box. We want to set the margin to 10 pixels and to add rounded corners with a radius of 10 pixels. We're going to go ahead and do. Okay, you're going to see figure div image, and you have our opening bracket. Set the margin to 10 pixels, and then key in everything as that you see on the screen here in the video. Make sure you have WebKit dash border dash radius, and you have the dash in front of that as well. And those and the border radius, so all three of these that I just highlighted are set to 10 pixels. Make sure you have your ending bracket, press enter, and let's do a quick save. And let's see, we're on step 23. For the figure caption within the figure box, create a style rule to set the background to white, set the font size to 80%, displayed in italic and centered, and then set the top margin to 5 pixels. Okay, we have the fig caption and then our bracket. We want the background color to white, font size to 80%, font style italic, text align, center, margin top to 5 pixels. Now we are on step 24, add descriptive comments to the style sheet to identify the style rules for different sections of the web page. Actually, we don't have to do that because we did that every single time we put in new style rules, like I just highlighted up there. That would be considered your descriptive comment for your style sheet, so you don't have to do that. So let's go ahead and save our race.css. We want to make sure to save the changes to the file, and then we're going to go ahead and open our rows.htm in Chrome and verify that our layout and design of the page resemble what is shown on figure 477. And if you flip back to page 304, you can see where the figure 4-77 is. And after you've done that, go ahead and save, raise your hand, and I'll come around and check off to make sure you've done it correctly. Okay, I actually went and opened up mine in Chrome, and you can see as I move my mouse over my vertical links, you can see that my background changes. Up you can see my horizontal links that they change. We have our image here. We also have, look at our box with the radius in there. We can scroll down our page. We can also see images and the bottom of our page as well. Look how we can scroll to view the images here as well. So hopefully your page looks like mine. If it doesn't, figure out where your mistake is and go back into the videos to see if you can fix anything, or if you're still struggling, raise your hand, let me know, and we'll come around and see what we can do. Great job.